It's summertime. Welcome to another Sci-Fi Journal for July 2011. This program is presented by the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club. I'm Marc Morisseau. Also hosting the show today are Calvin Watts III, Jay Kingston, and James Hinsey. Gentlemen, welcome. Yeah. And we'd like to start off by having a little announcement about a fundraiser that the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club is sponsoring this year. It's called Can't Stop the Serenity 2011. It's going to be held Saturday, July 23rd, 2011 at the Cinema World Theater in Lincoln, Rhode Island.
The Lincoln Mall.
We're going to be showing a midnight show of Serenity. We also have a costume contest planned. We can quote the prices because it is a charity fundraiser, so it's going to be $15 per person. Mm-hmm. And the money goes to Equality Now, which is Josh Whedon's charity for supporting women's rights around the world. I don't know if you wanted to say anything else about it. The fun probably starts around 9 o'clock or so.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, this is last year's T-shirt I got from the New England Browncoats.
Right.
They have a new logo for this year. It's the 6th year. They've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars already across the whole country, where everyone's having a CSTS screening in their own city. So we're having our own too.
Mm-hmm. This is the second year that we do it. It should be a lot of fun. We have some surprises in addition to showing the Serenity movie. We got some other things that we're working on, which should be a lot of fun. We're also asking people to bring a canned food donation to support the Rhode Island Community Food Bank, which is kind of neat as well.
We had how many pounds? 200 and some?
Something like over 200 pounds, close to 250 pounds of food that we donated last year.
Yep.
Was pretty awesome. And if you donate, you get a little raffle ticket for some swag and stuff. So.
Yep. We'd like to beat last year's record if that's possible.
That'd be cool. So check it out. It's going to be July 23rd, 2011, Cinema World, Lincoln Mall. Be there or be square, whatever. Okay, so let's get on with the show. We always start off talking about movies, and we have some awesome movies this summer. And that brings us to Jay Kingston talking about popcorn previews.
Another Earth, which is a Sundance Award winner starring William Mapothe and Bryn Marling. It stars those two people, like I just said. And it's basically about a duplicate Earth that scientists here on our Earth discover. They're sending signals out, and they start receiving signals back, and they think it's an echo, but it turns out that the echo starts acting independently and talking independently. Oh. And they're like, whoa, what is this? And they discover that it's a second Earth that's an exact duplicate of ours with exactly the same people on it and everything. And there's a brilliant young scientist, this Britt Marling, and she has made a terrible mistake here on our Earth. And what she does is she wants to go to the other Earth to try and make up for that mistake. And it looks pretty cool. So let's take a look at the footage.
This is Dr. Joan Tallis, the United States planet Earth. Do you read me? Is anyone out there? We're getting feedback. Let's try another channel. Hello? Hello? This is Dr. Joan Tallis.
What does that mean? I don't understand what Kimberly, that means.
In the grand history of the cosmos, more than 13,000 million million years old. On Earth is replicated elsewhere.
There's another you out there.
Now you begin to wonder,
The other me made the same mistakes I've made. And is that me better than this me?
Let me tell you a story. It's about a girl. She does something unforgivable. She goes to apologize, but she loses her nerve. She lies to him. She thinks she might be able to make his life a little bit better. It was really just a way to survive what I've done.
Please don't go. You don't know what's out there.
That's why I would go.
This is a place that I call my home.
Okay, that looked pretty cool.
If you say so. All right.
Yeah, I do say so.
Okay.
Get a haircut.
I will.
Next we have Harry Potter 7, Part 2. Now, I can understand why they made this movie in 2 parts, because to do it any justice, they had to.
Right.
Otherwise, you'd be sitting in the movie theater for 5 hours straight, going,
What is this, Lord of the Rings? Give me a break.
hey,
Oh, sorry.
don't speak sacrilege. Anyway, it's Harry Potter, all the same cast. You know what's going on. Trust me, this preview is going to blow your socks off. It looks great.
I'm
Let's
not
take a
wearing
look
it.
at it. Shut up.
Wait a minute, I am. Okay.
You're not wearing underwear. Let's take a look at that footage.
And you know that because?
Your wife told me.
Harry, be safe. Be strong.
Harry Potter. You have fought valiantly. Now join me and confront your fate.
We've kept him alive so that he can die at the proper moment.
Bring him to me.
Let's find out where he is. If we find him, we can end this.
I say we jump now!
Hogwarts is threatened. Man the boundaries, protect us.
I have to go back, haven't I?
It's a suicide mission. The boy who lived, come to die.
Tell them how it happened that night. How you looked him in the eye. A man who trusted you and killed him.
I never wanted any of you to die for me. You'll stay with me.
Always.
Until the end.
Come on, Tom. Let's finish this the way we started it.
Together.
Only I can live forever.
So the Harry Potter movie comes out on July 14th at midnight, which is my birthday.
Oh, how cool is that?
And I'll be at the Warwick Showcase on Route 2.
You better
Dressed
talk to
up
these
as-
people who are putting out the things because they said July 17th on my thing.
They did? The schmucks.
That might have been old something, but the 14th, Thursday night at midnight. But I'll be there all evening.
Otherwise known as the 15th.
Right.
Right.
Which is 2 days before the 17th.
I know.
And
So
how will we know it's you, James?
I'll be dressed as Professor Snape.
Oh.
How interesting.
Yes. I'm going to try to do some interviews, too, of the attendees, ask them, why they love Harry Potter and stuff like that.
And
Hopefully,
what are they gonna
everybody
do
can
now
show
at
up
that
and...
it's all over.
I know. But, hey, magic is forever, and we'll keep
Oh, I know. We're not going to have anybody on suicide watch or anything, are we, because of this? Okay.
No, they'll be waiting for JK to put out more books.
There you go.
And she will. Next, we have Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, I love it.
Without Arnold.
No,
He
I
was
know.
apparently off conquering another maid. But
kidding.
anyway, so let's take a look. This one stars Jason Momoa.
Yes, who was in Stargate Atlantis.
Momoa.
Yes, awesome. Good actor.
Momoa.
Yeah, he's from Hawaii.
Momoa. He's Jason Momoa. He's my favorite drink. Champagne and orange juice.
No. What do you do with the grass when it gets too tall?
Momoa.
There you go.
I thought it was a mimosa. Anyway.
Oh, man.
Rachel Nichols is also in this.
Who?
Rachel Nichols.
Oh, how much did it cost to get her?
An arm and a leg.
All right.
You thought I was going to say a dime. It's an hour show. Shut up.
All right.
Okay. It looks stylish. It looks slick. And this Conan can actually speak English that we can understand.
Yes.
So let's take a look at that.
I see a journey. A man crossing the sands.
A knight.
A warrior. Your paths will merge.
Behold! In despair! Your new master.
The law raises the souls of the unspeakably evil.
You sought to enslave all of Hyboria. No man shall live in chains. Come on. Run from me, and I will tear apart the monster to find you. I will follow you to hell.
Okay. Next, we have Cowboys and Aliens, starring Daniel Craig, Harrison Ford, Olivia Wilde. The title says it all, folks. It's basically about a guy who wakes up in the middle of nowhere, can't remember who he is or why he's got this weird bracelet on his arm. But mayhem ensues. There are cowboys, there are aliens. It looks like a lot of fun.
Right.
So, and that comes out on July 29th. Let's take a look.
I woke up in the desert, like I've been dropped out of the sky. You got a name?
I don't know.
I'm gonna need you to come with us.
that's Lonergan, boss.
I want that man. You give him to me now.
I need to know where you came from.
So do I.
You don't remember anything.
My son. My wife. I need that weapon. It's the only thing that counts. What about the other people? Are they alive?
They won't be for long. You just have to work together.
Come on!
Who is she?
She's the only one who knows who I am.
You know who you are. You just have to remember. They'll come back with more, and there will be no survivors. It's what they did to my people.
I've seen good men do bad things, bad men do good things. You go get our people back.
They're here.
Should we step in? Looks like he's doing fine. God damn.
And last, but certainly not least, we've got Rise of the Planet of the Apes, starring Oscar nominee James Franco. Why do I say Falco? James Franco, John Lithgow, and Frida Pinto. And this film utilizes CGI to its utmost, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because when you watch it and you realize that the apes are all computer generated, it just blows you away.
Right.
Our drug allows the brain to repair itself. We call it the cure. We're ready to move on to the next phase. This one.
This is wrong, Will.
This has the potential to change lives.
Some things aren't meant to be changed.
Does it work? Like we predicted.
With one exception. The drug has radically boosted brain functioning.
You mean increased intelligence? We got a fatality. You have no idea what you're dealing with.
They're not people, you know.
And that be it for Popcorn Previews.
All right, Jay, thank you very much. Next up, we have a segment concerning video games and DVDs and so forth that Calvin intros we like to call Game Over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Take it away, Calvin.
There's not a whole lot going on in the realm of DVD releases.
Well, thank you, Calvin. Anyway, so let's get back to...
Excuse me for a minute.
We do that all the time. All right.
All right, let's try this again. But there have been some genre releases that have come out. Most recently, James Cameron's Sanctum is available now in stores, along with Battle LA.
Right.
Surprisingly underrated Battle LA.
That was good. That was a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun with that. I'll
good.
definitely be picking that up. And we're only a couple months away from the Star Wars release.
Who cares? I don't care. All right.
I care.
All right, you care.
So if I care, it's going to be on the show.
There you go.
And that's all I got.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to skip over TV news for this month, and we're going to introduce a new segment about comic books that we like to call graphic content. Okay, first up this month in our comic book segment is a book I like to call, and I will briefly hold it up, 50 Girls 50. It's by Image Comics.
The cover was shiny.
All right, it's produced by Frank Cho and Doug Murray, and the artist is Axel Medellin. It chronicles the fantastic voyage of the space vessel ESS Savannah and her beautiful crew as they fight to escape hostile aliens and exotic worlds, searching for the wormhole that will take them to their ultimate destination, home. I guess the whole premise is Earth's resources are running out. They invent this warp drive that'll let them explore other planets. Only problem is, the only people that can use this warp drive without being killed are people who have 3 Y chromosomes. There are only 50 women in the entire world that can do this. So they recruit these women, they send them off on different spaceships to try to find.
And they all just happen to be hot babes.
They happen to be hot babes who happen to lose their clothes by the end of this particular episode, but there's a 4-issue series, and they're hoping that if it's as popular as it is, they've already gone to a second printing for the first issue, that it'll pick up for further issues.
Now, Mark, isn't that the comic book that they had to have a contest to find an artist because Frank Cho was too busy to do the artwork himself?
Exactly, they did. Funny, I seem to have mentioned that before in a previous incarnation. But that's pretty good. If you like that, it's a lot of fun. 50 Girls 50. Check that out. Next up, Green Lantern one-shots galore. There's a one-shot featuring Tomar Ray, which is pretty awesome. There's a one-shot, this is for Ian, featuring Kilowog, which is pretty awesome. And there's one about Abe and Sir as well. These all take place before the Green Lantern movie that premiered in June.
So where's the Abe and Sir one?
I didn't buy it.
Why not?
Because it's a 3-issue series, and I didn't want to.
Because you're prejudiced against purple people.
No, I like purple people, actually. But that's besides the point. Anyway, so Green Lantern, a lot of one-shots for that. And then here's the final one we want to talk about. DC revamps its entire universe starting August 1st, and the nerd fans are really upset.
Yeah, they're all going back to issue 1.
They're all going back to issue 1. The official letter by DC Comics stores. Glasses, please. Many of you have heard rumors that DC Comics has been working on a big publishing initiative for later this year. This is indeed a historic time for us, as come this September we are relaunching the entire DC Universe line of comic books with all new first issues, 52 of them to be exact. In addition, the new number 1s will introduce readers to a more modern, diverse, turn the page, DC Universe with some character variations in appearance, origin, and age. All stories will be grounded in each character's legend, but will relate to real-world situations, interactions, tragedy, and triumph. So this all starts Wednesday, August 31st with the debut of a brand new Justice League number 1, which pairs Jeff Johns and Jim Lee together for the first time. And they're going to be introducing a whole new bunch of revamped DC characters. They're just starting all over again. And a lot of people are complaining about, oh, what about the continuity and all this other stuff? Forget it. It's not going to happen.
I think retcon has become the way things are in comic bookdom.
Yep. And I think the big reason for doing that is because DC has been number 2 in sales to Marvel since 2002. And finally, a nice indie comic called Sky Pirates of Valandor is produced locally right here in Rhode Island by Everett and Susan Soares. Nice indie comic you should pick up sometime. Oh, there's a great ad about the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club on the back.
And they're working on a new issue.
Which is good. All right. And that's it for this month for comic books and graphic content. Let's move on to The Wonderful World of Anime with James Hinsey.
So it's Anime Daisuki time. A bunch of stuff here for anime news. Funimation has sued 1,500 John Does. They don't know the names of these people yet, but they have their IP addresses for uploading or downloading content that is
illegal?
Copyrighted. They've been sharing it using BitTorrent. So they're trying to sue these people, for sharing stuff they're not supposed to.
Well, how the hell are they going to do that? Because if the IP address happens to be at somebody's business.
If the judge decides in their favor,
right.
the companies that have the IP addresses will have to give up who the identities are. So then
that's what I'm saying.
Actually go after them and get a settlement.
Yeah, but if you're working for this huge company and you happen to BitTorrent something on the company's computer, they're not going to know who that individual person is.
Once they get to that person and say, hey, you're someone on this IP address at your company,
right,
or someone's home IP address, downloaded something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it's a company address, they'll be able to sue the company.
No, but the company can identify exactly who did it.
How are they going to do that?
Through their network. They know exactly what everyone in the. That's how it works. It does.
Unless, of course, they're a master criminal who has gone on to a separate server.
Okay.
Anyway.
But
yes, they can.
We'll talk about this after. Okay.
Anyway, let's see. Something for Calvin. Toei is working on a film pilot for Toei Robot Girls. There's these 3 girls who, in terms of the backstory, are imbued with the powers of 3 of the giant robots known in the past as, Gaiking, Gakin, and Barak.
Wow.
So now these 3 girls have those kinds of powers that these giant robots had, and that's.
But they're still like 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now, I think it's a manga. They're going to work on a live action version.
Wow. So if you need any jars opened, you're all set.
So something in the the giant robot world here coming.
Have you heard anything about the Guy King movie? I haven't heard.
No, I haven't seen anything new. Albert Hughes, one of the Hughes brothers, the directors. Albert Hughes was slated to do Akira. He has left that project. So now that's still, Akira is still in the works and it's up in the air, it's sort of.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Trigun, there's a Trigun movie. All you Vash fans out there. It's making the circuit. Check it out when you can, or catch it. There's going to be a new Gundam series called Gundam Age, or AGE. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be AGE or the word age. That's coming in the fall. On Adult Swim, if you haven't caught it yet, catch it. It's started in June. Durarara. It's a series about a boy who moves into the city, stays with a friend, and there's all these supernatural happenings happening in the city, and there's lots of characters in it. I just started watching it, so it looks like a lot of fun. And the Sci-Fi Channel has dumped Star Blazers and all the anime on its anime time slot. And, I think Sci-Fi should change their letters to SX for sucks. Mm-hmm. FY is already F, what, so.
It was just on the other night.
I know, but last night, or this past week, was the last Star Blazers that it's going to show. So they've dumped it.
Didn't I read somewhere they were coming to an agreement with some wrestling federation? They're going to be
what do you mean
adopted by them?
Oh, probably, but they've been already doing wrestling on Friday.
But there's more of a relationship with wrestling coming up.
So, there's lots of stuff on the Facebook and internet saying, how Sci-Fi sucks, and they're just digging themselves a big hole. You know,
well, they're gonna end up eventually having to change their name from sci-fi to just fantasy.
Or bad movies on Saturday nights. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for anime news. Maybe I'll have some more good news next month.
Okay, today we've got a rather special roundtable. We're going to be taking a look back now that Smallville, the series, has come to the end of its 10-year run. We didn't talk about it last month because some people here hadn't seen the episode yet, and some people still haven't, so we've made them leave.
That's right.
And now we are here. Adam Tuchman has joined us, and we will be discussing Smallville over the past 10 years, where it was, where it went to, and what we think about it. So basically, we had a 10-year show run, which is unusual for a show to begin with.
Right.
10 years is a very good run, especially on an independent channel like the CW.
Right. It started out as what, the WB?
Started out as the WB,
Yep.
and became the CW. And much to their credit, they didn't drop Smallville, which I thought was one of the better programs on their network.
Right.
It's not your usual drama fare type stuff like some of the other shows that they have on. I'm not even going to bother mentioning. But basically, for those of you who may not know about Smallville, Smallville is the boyhood home of Clark Kent, who is Superman. And the Smallville series chronicles the origins of Superman from his arrival on Earth until his actual fruition, his coming out as Superman. And I'm just curious, what did you guys think of the way they developed the show?
Great, Adam.
Okay, I've been watching the show from the beginning. It started out sort of like Monster of the Week. Kryptonite in the comics never really affected humans, but I guess they had to have a way to introduce some challenges to Clark Kent's character, and so they had it that if Kryptonite did affect people and sort of gave them powers or mutations, and so it started out, the Monster of the Week, but then it developed into something more sophisticated. They got more into the personal relationships. It was sort of, I won't say like a soap opera, but it became more about people rather than the old Hulk TV series where the Hulk, would go to town, there'd be a bad guy, he'd beat up the bad guy, and then go to another town. And there wasn't really that much interrelationships developed because, it was basically a different show each week with different characters. So I liked how they developed, and you got to care for the people. Now, in terms of the comics, I'm familiar with the 60s and 70s comics because my brother used to get them. But starting in the 80s, other than what I read in newspapers, I haven't really followed it, so I'm not that familiar with how it developed or some of the characters introduced. I like Luthor. In the comics, at least in the 50s and 60s, he was something like a crazy guy who wanted to do bad things. Here you get to see how he developed, and there's sort of some sort of logic and reason to how he behaved. So I thought that was good because the villains had a more sophisticated past where you can understand what they were doing. Other villains like Mr. Mixel-Pixel, I can't pronounce it.
Mixel-Spitlick.
Yeah, I didn't particularly care for him. I liked the character because he came from a different dimension and he had, different powers. And he was just sort of blah. But that is my feelings for how the series developed.
I loved it from the very beginning because I'm a big Superman fan. I know in the 80s, 90s, they had changed the way Lex Luthor, how he was as a character from the 50s and 60s, 70s. Before he was a scientist who did lose his hair because of Superman, or Superboy at the time. But he was always older than he. But then here, they made him like a contemporary. So they really set that whole path for Lex and Clark to be, arch enemies and rivals when they're as adults. So I think that whole path was great. I don't know why they kind of wrote him out for a while. I don't know what happened with that, but I thought that that was just one of the key parts of that whole series was the Lex Luthor Clark Kent relationship. Then there was the Lana Lang relationship with Clark, which I always liked. I love the fact that they cast the woman who played Lana Lang in the Superman 3 movie as his mother. That was, I think, great casting. And John Schneider was awesome as Pa Kent,
right,
or Jonathan Kent. That too, the whole family life that Clark had really helped develop him as a character into who he is today.
Right. Yeah. One of my favorite characters in the program was Chloe Sullivan. She wasn't part of the DC universe continuity and such. It was a new character specifically made just for Smallville. But I'm glad they kept her throughout the entire 10-year run, because there were years when we thought, oh no, they're going to lose Chloe. You can't lose Chloe, because she was such a favorite character. She was smart, and she was a contemporary, and she was almost Clark's like kid sister in a such. They had like a love brother sister type relationship, which was really nice, and it developed really well along the year. So I'm glad even up until the end that they managed to find a spot for her in the DC universe.
She was sort of like the average person viewpoint too, watching all this.
Yeah.
So a character that the average person can more relate to.
Yeah, and at one point she developed meteor powers, and then she loses them. And, we go through all that stuff and develops this character with Oliver Queen and a little Green Arrow and stuff.
She was infected by Brainiac at one point.
Yeah. And that's another thing I liked about Smallville, is that they were able to introduce your favorite DC comic book characters over the years. So we got to see Dr. Fate, and we got to see Hawkman, and we got to see Green Arrow, and we got to see a lot of those characters. Aquaman and the Flash, Kid Flash, and so
Zatanna.
forth. Zatanna, right.
No, he never got together with Batman. They originally had thought that there'd be an episode where he met Batman.
They wanted to introduce Bruce Wayne, and they decided against it. Right.
They did mention, I think, Gotham City and Central City.
Yes, they did. Yeah. Yep.
They did. Yeah, they had Impulse, who was the Flash.
Right.
I think the series kind of started to drag around the 6th season.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of lagged, and there was talk about maybe canceling it. And for their credit, the writers or producers said, well, we're going to introduce some new ideas into this and kind of pump it up a little bit. And we ended up seeing Hawkman come in. We ended up seeing the Justice Society with Stargirl and Dr. Fate and several of the other characters. And finally, you started to see the beginnings of the Justice League with Zatanna and Aquaman and Impulse and Cyborg and Green Arrow and all the other characters all taking part and all tied together by the Watchtower, which was actually an old clock tower.
Right.
Which I thought was really kind of neat. They never really called Chloe Oracle.
Actually, I think they did.
Did they call her Oracle?
Yeah.
I don't remember quite exactly.
If you're not sure, write in and let us know if you know for sure if she did.
Yes, if you know. But I think it's also nice how they hinted at one point that Chloe Sullivan was not part of history when the Legion of Superheroes came back to the past. But they broke past that, and they kind of showed that history can be changed. Things can alter. And so Supergirl goes off to be with the Legion in the future. Chloe ends up married to Oliver Queen, and they end up having a son, Speedy.
Right.
And I thought that was a nice little homage. They show the kid-sized compound bow sitting in the corner at the end. She's reading a Superman storybook called Smallville to Speedy. I thought that was really nice. I also liked the fact that they had Granny Goodness in there, and they had a couple of other of Darkseid's cronies.
Right.
And Oliver Queen showed that he wasn't afraid to do the smart thing and take out the enemies when he had to. This was not your average comic book show where the villain kept coming back week after week after week because nobody had the guts to take him out. Oliver Queen was shown at one point to put an arrow into the head of who he thought was Lex Luthor, and it turned out to just be a mannequin. To answer your question about Michael Rosenbaum, he had some other things that he wanted to do. And so that's why he was written out of the show temporarily, but they asked him to come back for the final
and I'm glad he did, because that was good. Now, what about losing Tess? Because that was a new character of the show also.
That was, well, Tess was not really new. She was introduced in the Justice League comic book series, or the animated series anyway, as Lex's bodyguard.
Oh, okay.
Tess Mercer. And they called her Mercy in the Justice League. But I think it was kind of neat that they tied her in as being Lex's sister, or at least half-sister.
Right.
And she was a Luthor. And at the very end, Lex takes her out, but she gets her revenge on him.
Right.
By touching him with that nano formula, which erases his memories. So he doesn't know anything about Clark anymore, and you can see they're setting it up for that whole antagonistic relationship to take place. I also thought it was great. They were saying for years that we would never get to see Tom Welling in the Superman costume. He would never put on the tights. He would never fly. Well, they did.
Well, because fans were asking for it.
Yeah, fans were demanding it.
Well, they said they wouldn't do it until the end of the show.
Well, originally they said they were never going to do it. Originally they said they would never do it. And Tom Welling didn't want to do it either.
Fly either.
Yep.
I wonder if there was any copyright issue or anything like that, because they avoided the use of the word Superman, almost exclusively. There were a couple of times when maybe Lois or someone else inferred that term, but they just avoided it, and I thought maybe it was an image thing. They just didn't want to. Same for like other certain DC things that they probably couldn't use, like Batman, because somebody else, not within their studio, owned some part of it or something.
Well, they had the movies. I think that was a concern. They're having the Batman movies coming out, so they sometimes don't want it on the TV.
Yeah, well, it was all
make a contradiction to what they're filming.
It was also all tied in under the Warner umbrella, and Warner owns DC and Warner Entertainment. I think they own the CW.
Right.
And if they really wanted to, I think they could have pushed it and used the names, but for whatever reason, they just chose not to.
They didn't use Wonder Woman either, although it had been talked about.
Right.
Yeah, Chloe referred to her as a wondrous woman. So that was one of the last episodes as well.
Right.
But I think overall, if I have to give the series a grade, I would give it a B+ to an A- overall. The last episode, I would give it a definite A+.
Yep.
It was a fabulous end to a good series that ran for a long time, and it was a worthy end to a series that had lasted for 10 years.
Yep, a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. And if you haven't seen it, I hope we haven't spoiled anything for you, but...
I'm sure you'll be able to Netflix it or rent it pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. This Christmas, they are coming out with the entire 10-season set.
Yep. Yep. It comes with a forklift. It comes right to your house.
Or superpowers to lift.
Yeah.
Or if you pay for the golden package, Tom Welling will actually fly to your house and hand it to you.
There you go. So. Even better.
Yeah. Now they are working on a new Superman movie, but we'll have to see how that comes out.
Yeah, and it's amazing that in all of the polls that they've taken in the different magazines and such, they've asked who would you want to see play Superman in the movies, and over 50-something% of the respondents said Tom Welling.
Yep.
So naturally the studios said, well, we're not going to do that. We're going to go with somebody else.
Yeah.
So the bean counters shall inherit the earth,
That's right.
and the smart people will leave for greener pastures. So
is that it?
I would say that's a pretty good wrap-up for the Smallville series, wouldn't you guys?
I do too.
It's a Great Caesar's Ghost. It was a wonderful TV show.
It was a lot of fun. That's right. Now we got to find something else to watch on Friday nights.
That's it.
And finally, we go to toys, props, and other
stuff,
where we point out the wonderful world of sci-fi collectibles and talk about them. First up, James.
All right. That little guitar there is a flash drive with the complete collection of Draco and the Malfoys. The several, about 5 or 6 CDs, couple of live albums. I picked this up at the Harry Potter conference I was at. Brian Ross and Bradley Mellenbacher are the Draco and the Malfoys. They live right here in Rhode Island. Brian was also organizing Rockstock, which is out in Missouri this fall. It's a big concert with a bunch of Wizard Rock bands, and I got that little neat thing. In between there is Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets audiobook, unabridged, narrated by Jim Dale. It's awesome. I've been starting to listen to the audiobooks just to see what they're like, and and catch up on all the books before the movie comes out.
And next to that is the X-Men trilogy on Blu-ray. Very awesome first movie, even better second movie. Third movie was really bad, but it was at a really good price, and I got a free ticket to see X-Men First Class, which was First Class.
I heard. Yeah,
very
good things.
movie.
All right, and this here is just a couple of fluorescent pom-pom things. This is my little example of a binary star. So I use this as a part of my astronomy lesson that I had.
So it's not 2 tribbles on a kebab stick?
No, it's not 2 tribbles on kebab. Oh, I had a jousting accident. Okay.
Could have.
Okay, as always, if you want to get in touch with us, our website is www.risfc.org. We've also got a way for you to get in touch with us through emails. Go to that site, check it out. Also, check out the CSTS Rhode Island 2011 portion of the website for more information about that fundraiser that we mentioned earlier in the program. That's going to be it for this edition of Sci-Fi Journal. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in August.